I never thought I'd find myself in a situation like this. If you told me 5 years ago that I'd be sitting here in a dimly lit office, reflecting on my life and my choices, I'd have laughed in your face. But here I am, recounting the events that led me to betray the woman I promised to love and cherish forever. This is my story, a simple American man who made some not-so-simple mistakes. I married Jenny right after college. We met at a small coffee shop just off campus, and it was love at first sight. She had this radiant smile that could light up a room and a laugh that made everything seem right in the world. We dated for 2 years before I popped the question, and she said yes without a moment's hesitation. We were young, in love, and ready to take on the world together. Life was good in the beginning. I got a job at a mid-sized marketing firm, and Jenny worked as a nurse at the local hospital. We bought a small house in the suburbs and started planning our future. Kids, vacations, growing old together. We had it all mapped out. But as the years went by, things started to change. Work got busier, and our time together became scarce. We drifted apart without even realizing it. That's when Samantha came into the picture. She was hired as my new secretary about a year ago. Samantha was everything Jenny wasn't. Young, vibrant, and full of life. She had this infectious energy that made even the dullest days at the office bearable. At first, our relationship was strictly professional. She handled my schedule, took care of the mundane tasks, and made sure everything ran smoothly. But as time went on, we started talking more, sharing stories and laughing together. I didn't realize it then, but I was getting emotionally attached to Samantha. She filled a void that had been growing in my life for years. She made me feel young again, like I could conquer the world. It started with innocent lunches and late nights at the office. We'd stay back after everyone had left, working on projects and talking about our dreams and aspirations. It felt good to have someone who understood me, who listened without judgment. One night, after a particularly stressful day, we decided to go out for a drink. One drink turned into several, and before I knew it, we were back at her apartment. It felt like a dream, a whirlwind of emotions and desires I hadn't felt in years. The guilt hit me hard the next morning, but I couldn't deny the connection we had. We started seeing each other more often, sneaking around and keeping our affair a secret. I know what you're thinking. How could I do this to Jenny? The truth is, I ask myself the same question every day. I love Jenny, I really did. But the excitement, the thrill of being with Samantha, was something I couldn't resist. It was like a drug, and I was addicted. I started making excuses, working late, and finding reasons to be away from home. I was living a double life, and the guilt was eating me alive. Jenny, being the wonderful woman she is, trusted me completely. She never questioned my late nights or my sudden need to travel for work. I took advantage of her trust, and for that, I am truly sorry. But at the time, I was too caught up in my own world to see the damage I was causing. I thought I could keep it up, that I could have the best of both worlds. But secrets have a way of coming out, and mine was no different. It was a Friday night, and I was supposed to be at a conference out of town. Instead, I was with Samantha, enjoying a romantic dinner at a fancy restaurant. I hadn't noticed Jenny's friend Lisa sitting a few tables away. She saw us, took pictures, and sent them to Jenny. My phone started buzzing with messages and calls from Jenny, but I ignored them. I was too wrapped up in the moment to care. When I finally got home, Jenny was waiting for me. The look on her face was one I'll never forget, a mix of hurt, anger, and betrayal. She confronted me with the pictures, and there was no denying it. I came clean, told her everything. The affair, the lies, the deception. I could see the pain in her eyes as I spoke, and it tore me apart. I had shattered the woman I loved, and there was no going back. Jenny asked me to leave, and I did. I stayed with a friend for a while, trying to figure out what to do next. I wanted to make things right, to fix the mess I had created, but it wasn't that simple. Trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. I started going to therapy, hoping to understand why I had strayed, why I had hurt the person who meant the most to me. Samantha and I continued our relationship for a while, but it wasn't the same. The guilt and shame were too much to bear. I couldn't look at her without being reminded of the pain I had caused Jenny. We eventually went our separate ways, realizing that our relationship was built on a foundation of lies and deceit. Jenny and I tried to work things out, but the damage was done. She couldn't trust me anymore, and I couldn't blame her. we decided to go our separate ways, to find happiness on our own. It was the hardest decision I've ever made, but it was the right one. We both needed to heal, to find ourselves again. Looking back, I see the mistakes I made, the opportunities I missed to make things right. I was selfish, thinking only of my own desires and not the consequences of my actions. I've learned a lot from this experience, and I hope that sharing my story can help others avoid the same pitfalls. Love is precious, and it should be cherished and nurtured. Don't take it for granted, because once it's gone, it's hard to get back. So here I am, a simple American man, reflecting on my life and the choices I made. I'm not proud of what I did, but I've learned from it. And maybe, just maybe, I can find a way to move forward and make better choices in the future. Jenny and I parted ways amicably. We sold the house, divided our belongings, and went our separate ways. I moved into a small apartment downtown, while Jenny stayed in the suburbs, close to her friends and her work. We agreed to remain friends, to support each other as we navigated this new chapter in our lives. I threw myself into my work, trying to distract myself from the emptiness I felt inside. But no matter how busy I was, thoughts of Jenny and the life we once had haunted me. I missed her smile, her laugh, the way she made everything seem right in the world. I missed the life we had built together, the dreams we had shared. One day, while going through some old boxes, I found a photo album. It was filled with pictures of Jenny and me, from our early days of dating to our wedding day and beyond. As I flipped through the pages, memories came flooding back. Our first date, our honeymoon, the countless moments of joy and love we had shared. I realized then just how much I had lost, and the weight of my actions hit me like a ton of bricks. I reached out to Jenny, hoping to find some closure. We met for coffee, and it was like old times. We talked, laughed, and reminisced about the good times. But there was an unspoken understanding between us. Things could never go back to the way they were. Too much had happened. Too much had changed. We wished each other well and went our separate ways, knowing that our paths had diverged for good. In the months that followed, I continued my therapy and worked on understanding myself better. I realized that my affair with Samantha was a symptom of deeper issues, feelings of inadequacy, a fear of getting old, and a longing for excitement that had been missing from my life. I needed to address these issues, to find peace within myself before I could truly move on. I started taking better care of myself, both physically and mentally. I joined a gym, started eating healthier, and took up new hobbies. I reconnected with old friends and made new ones. Slowly but surely, I began to find a sense of balance and happiness. It wasn't easy, and there were days when the guilt and regret threatened to overwhelm me. But I kept pushing forward, determined to make amends and live a better life. Jenny, too, found her own path to healing. She threw herself into her work and her friendships, finding solace in the support of those who loved her. She started dating again, and I was genuinely happy for her. She deserved to be happy, to find someone who would treat her with the love and respect she deserved. As for Samantha, we remained cordial but distant. Our relationship had been a whirlwind of passion and deceit, and there was no going back to that. She moved on with her life, and so did I. We both understood that what we had was fleeting, a momentary escape from reality that couldn't last. Years have passed since then, and I've learned a lot about myself and what it means to truly love and be loved. I've made peace with my past and forgiven myself for my mistakes. I know that I'll never forget the pain I caused, but I've vowed to be a better person, to never take love for granted again. I've also learned that life is full of second chances. I met someone new, a wonderful woman named Emily. She's kind, compassionate, and understands me in ways I never thought possible. We've taken things slow, building a relationship based on trust and mutual respect. I've been honest with her about my past, and she's accepted me for who I am, flaws and all. Emily and I recently moved in together, and I feel a sense of hope and happiness I haven't felt in years. I know that I'll always carry the lessons of my past with me, but I'm ready to embrace the future with open arms. I'm ready to be the man Jenny believed I could be, the man Emily deserves. So if there have DRTSMs one thing IVGTMV learned from this journey, ITVDJTMs that love is worth fighting for. ITVDJTM is worth the effort, the sacrifices, and the vulnerability. And above all, ITVD to say Shandar Tim's worth the honesty and the trust. I may have stumbled along the way, but IVJTMV found my footing again. IVDJTMV found a way to move forward, to be better, and to truly cherish the love I have in my life. And that VDJTM's my story. A story of mistakes, regrets, and ultimately, redemption. A story of a simple American man who found his way back from the brink and discovered the true meaning of love. Emily and I settled into a comfortable routine, enjoying the simple pleasures of life together. We cooked meals, took long walks, and spent quiet evenings watching movies. It was a far cry from the chaos of my past, but it was exactly what I needed. I found peace in the ordinary, in the everyday moments that make life worth living. One weekend, we decided to take a trip to the countryside. Emily had always talked about wanting to escape the hustle and bustle of the city, and I thought it would be a great way for us to relax and reconnect. We rented a cozy cabin by a lake, surrounded by nature and tranquility. As we sat by the lake watching the sunset, I felt a sense of contentment I hadn't felt in years. Emily rested her head on my shoulder, and I wrapped my arm around her, pulling her close. We didn't need words to express what we felt. The silence spoke volumes. In that moment, I realized just how far I had come. From the depths of guilt and regret, I had found a way to rebuild my life, to find love and happiness again. It wasn't easy, and it took a lot of soul-searching and self-reflection, but it was worth it. Every step of the journey had led me to this point, to this moment of pure, unadulterated joy. I looked at Emily and knew that she was my second chance, my opportunity to do things right. I vowed to never take her for granted, to cherish every moment we had together. I knew that life was unpredictable, that things could change in an instant, but I also knew that I had the power to make the most of the time we had, to build a future based on love, trust, and respect. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the lake, I felt a sense of gratitude wash over me. I was grateful for the lessons I had learned, for the mistakes that had led me to this point, and for the love I had found in Emily. I knew that I would always carry the scars of my past, but I also knew that they had shaped me into the man I was today. And so, as I sat there holding Emily close, I made a silent promise to myself and to her. I promised to be the best partner I could be, to love her with all my heart, and to never let the mistakes of my past define my future. I promised to cherish every moment, to be present, and to build a life filled with love, laughter, and happiness. In the end, I realized that life is about the choices we make, the lessons we learn, and the love we share. It's about finding a way to move forward, to be better, and to cherish the people who matter most. I may have stumbled along the way, but I had found my footing again. And with Emily by my side, I knew that the best was yet to come. So, this is my story. A story of mistakes, redemption, and ultimately love. A story of a simple American man who learned the hard way but found his way back to happiness. And as I look to the future, I do so with hope, with love, and with the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Emily and I continued to build our life together, finding joy in the little things and supporting each other through the ups and downs. We talked about our dreams and aspirations, and it felt good to have someone who shared my vision for the future. We decided to take another step forward in our relationship and started planning our wedding. It was a small, intimate ceremony held in the same countryside cabin where we had found peace and contentment. Surrounded by close friends and family, we exchanged vows and promised to love and cherish each other for the rest of our lives. It was a beautiful day, filled with love, laughter, and the promise of a bright future. As we danced under the stars, I couldn't help but think about how far I had come. From the depths of despair and guilt, I had found my way to happiness and love. I had made mistakes, but I had learned from them and become a better person because of it. I was grateful for the journey, for the lessons, and for the second chance at love that I had found in Emily. Our life together was filled with adventure and new experiences. We traveled to new places, tried new things, and continued to grow both individually and as a couple. We supported each other through the challenges, celebrated the successes, and found joy in the everyday moments that make life special. As the years went by, we decided to start a family. The arrival of our first child brought a new sense of purpose and fulfillment to our lives. Watching Emily as a mother filled me with a deep sense of gratitude and love. She was patient, caring, and filled our home with warmth and joy. Raising a child brought its own set of challenges, but we faced them together with love and understanding. We created a nurturing environment filled with love, laughter, and the promise of a bright future. Our family grew, and with each new addition, our love and commitment to each other deepened. I often thought about Jenny and hoped that she too had found happiness and love. I knew that our paths had diverged for a reason, and I was grateful for the lessons I had learned from our time together. I hoped that she had found peace and fulfillment in her own life, just as I had found in mine. Looking back, I realized that life is a journey filled with twists and turns, with moments of joy and heartache. It's about the choices we make, the lessons we learn, and the love we share. It's about finding a way to move forward, to be better, and to cherish the people who matter most. I had made mistakes, but I had also found redemption in love. I had learned to cherish the moments, to be present, and to build a life filled with love, trust, and respect. And as I looked to the future, I did so with hope, with love, and with the promise of a brighter tomorrow. This is my story, a story of mistakes, redemption, and ultimately love. A story of a simple American man who learned the hard way but found his way back to happiness. And as I look to the future, I do so with hope, with love, and with the promise of a brighter tomorrow.